IVM.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Smile India. I'm your host Shifa Maitra, and each week I get you wonderful, uplifting Desi stories. India has some great people and institutions, and here's what I have for you today. Let's get started with a story from the East. Abdul Karimul Haque, also known as Bike Ambulance Dada, has saved up to 4,000 lives in the last couple of years. A worker in the tea gardens, he lives in a village called Dhalabari. He's observed that people in his village and villages close by often lost their lives waiting for an ambulance to get them to the hospital. Once his friend collapsed while having tea with him due to a snake bite. Karimul took his friend on a cycle and carried the snake in his other hand and pedaled through traffic, making it to the hospital on time. His friend was saved and Karimul was the local hero. Soon he was taking people injured or in pain on his cycle whenever needed to the hospital. He once saw a regular ambulance stuck in a traffic jam and the patient passed away before they could make it to the doctor. Local newspapers wrote about Karimul and Bajaj Auto gifted him a bike. Bike Ambulance Dada was now able to help more people. As his sons grew up and started working, they requested him to continue his good work while they would provide for the house. Bike Dada does not charge a rupee from his patients and is glad to help. He was recently awarded a Padma Shri for social work, and this simple, ever-smiling man is glad that with the money he got, 2 more bikes could be bought and his sons could also help patients across 20 villages. A book on his life has recently been published, and I think he deserves a biopic too. Now let me tell you about Riddhi Arya and Ganesh Kasarpu, 2 hotel management students in Mumbai. During the pandemic, they often had to take the bus since trains were not available, and they saw how drivers and conductors were working so hard and had a tough time because most eateries were shut. So they pooled in their savings, their pocket money, and Riddhi's brother also chipped in, and they decided to provide food for them. They approached the BEST management and began making food at home, carrying it on their bike and distributing it on different routes to surprise drivers and conductors. Others joined in soon. A chef donated rice, while another restaurant owner started ordering vegetables for them along with his own stock. And these 2 youngsters every day cook from dawn to ensure a fresh, tasty, hot meal for 250 conductors and drivers each day. More power to Riddhi and Ganesh, and thanks to the families that brought up such sensitive children. Can you imagine a young engineer who left his hometown in Saharanpur to move to a city, coming back to work with his father in their local grocery store? Well, that's precisely what Vaibhav Agarwal did. He studied and then worked in Mysore, Delhi, Haryana and Punjab in the retail market, and then decided to quit his job, do his MBA and head back home. He developed a software to study demand and supply and applied it to the family-owned Kamla grocery store. He used analytics and was soon able to turn things around. Vaibhav realized that there was a potential for the software across the nation and began a startup called the Kirana Store Company. Thanks to his software, shops across the country have been able to get distribution and systems in place. He now has clients all over India and a turnover of over 5 crores. I love the way Vaibhav is able to help others and make a profit. Vocal for local totally works. Next up is an incident that took place in a government hospital in Chhattisgarh. Swati Bhimgaj is a nurse in the COVID ward, and one day she realized that a patient who just come in was trying to say something but she could not get him. He was deaf and dumb, and due to her PPE kit, he couldn't even read her lips. That night, Swati stayed up and learned the basics of sign language. The next morning, the patient cried tears of joy. Swati worked even harder and the patient started improving dramatically. On the last day, they both sang a song together in sign language. This COVID hero totally deserves our respect. What's wonderful is that the local IAS officer Priyanka Shukla came across this video of Swati and the patient, which she shared on social media, thanking the nurse who truly went beyond the call of duty. That's it for today, and I'll be back next week with more delightful news from India. Till then, stay home, stay safe, and get vaccinated. For more interesting information on our country, please like and follow Good News Indians on Facebook. To hear more engaging podcasts, download the IVM app, go to the IVM website, or look for us wherever you get podcasts from. To stay in touch with me, you could look up Shifa Maitra on Twitter and Instagram. Since you heard and liked Smile India in English, you could check out our Hindi version too and recommend it to people who prefer podcasts in Hindi.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week, Cred and Sia. Thank you so much for making this possible. We've had an amazing week on the network. Do check out The Note with Mahrukh Inayat. She speaks to Prabhat Kumar, the man leading child protection at one of India's leading NGOs, Save the Children. On The Habit Coach, Ashton was joined by Rajat Mittal Shah to talk about some superfoods in Ayurveda like turmeric and ashwagandha. On Paisa Vaisa, host Anupam Gupta has a digital gold special in 2 parts, one with Ashraf Rizvi, founder and CEO of Digital Swiss Gold and Gilded, and one with Deepak Abbott, co-founder of India Gold. Listen to the first part of the Father's Day special of Agla Station Adulthood with Natasha and her father, Dr. Vipul Roy Rathod. You should also check out Cyrus Says' episode with Mukul Chadda. He talks about upcoming shows Sunflower and Sherni. Our Kannada podcast, Thale Artist, celebrates 100 episodes, and we had a reunion of hosts Pawan, Ganesh, and Surya who shared their favorite moments from the past. Shiva Mehta is back with the second season of Smile India. The show is available in both English and Hindi. On this episode, she talks about the conversion from bag teas to bagless ones and how we should ditch the plastic and have a great tea experience. And with that, I hope to see you again next week.
पेश खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Arshit. खाने का इतिहास, economics, policy, psychology, सब है मेन्यू पे.
Only on the Naan Curry podcast every Wednesday. सिर्फ IVM Podcast app या वेबसाइट पर या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.